Butterflies. We see them flying in the air or landing on a flower. But do we all know how butterflies are made? Butterflies don't come straight out of the egg with their beautiful wings. But how do butterflies go from being in an egg to flying? Well, there are 4 stages that have to happen first before a caterpillar transforms into a butterfly. The first stage is the egg. Butterfly eggs are very small, and they may differ in size or appearance depending on the species. Some of the shapes you'll find are round, cylindrical, or oval, and they vary in colors, such as white, green, or yellow. Some eggs are sheer, while others are more opaque. If you look closely at the eggs, you may be able to spot some tiny caterpillars moving around inside. Once the egg hatches, we reach our second stage, the larval stage. The name for the larval stage comes from the word larva, which is synonymous with caterpillar. During this stage, the caterpillar spends most of its time eating and eating and eating. Caterpillars are very picky with what they eat, so butterflies lay their eggs on leaves according to what their species like. For example, some of the plants that the monarch butterfly favors are milkweed plants and Mexican sunflowers, among others. So when monarch butterflies lay their eggs, there's a chance it could be laid on a milkweed plant. When caterpillars hatch from their eggs, they are very small. But how do they get to be the large size we see in our garden? Since caterpillars eat a majority of the time, their bodies get bigger. But does their skin stretch or grow to compensate? The answer is no. Caterpillars have something called an exoskeleton, which sheds as they grow. After shedding or molting several times, caterpillars form something called a chrysalis, which takes us into the third stage, the pupal stage. When a butterfly becomes a pupa, also known as a chrysalis, it stays in this chrysalis form for an extended period of time. It can take a few weeks to a few months depending on the species. When it is initially formed, it is soft, but it hardens to provide a protective shell for the metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is the change an insect goes through from an immature form to an adult form. So this whole change from an egg to a butterfly is a metamorphosis. Now we have reached the final stage of the transformation, the adult stage. After being in the tight pupa, the butterfly's wings are close to its body, but after adjusting to its surroundings, hemolymph begins to pump through the wings, allowing them to stretch and flap. Hemolymph is a fluid similar to blood, which is found in invertebrates. After a couple hours of adjusting, the butterfly flies to find a mate. After mating, the whole process begins again with an egg. So, ladies, gentlemen, and insects, that is how butterflies go from being in an egg to flying around.